So recording can. So please, are you guys able to see my screen? Are we good to go? And can you hear my voice here now? Can you see my screen? Can you hear my voice? You guys should talk. Oh, you can talk here. Oh, you are not on YouTube.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, sir.
All right,
You
thank you.
can see the screen, sir.
So let's get to business. So I have given the illustration now of two things there. One is instead of Omoyasuno to say this, then he said the other one. And you people now understand what we mean by illustration. You want to paint a picture. Imagine what a professional you must be if you are going to paint a picture using, look at it now, it's there in your chat box. You can open it to read. Imagine how tough it will be for you as a writer to try to paint a picture using words. That is what we are trying to see here. Now, but where do you find yourself using description? You know, I mentioned it that it's very important you know the type of topic that you want to write that will require you to use description. You must know. It's not just because you want to write anything. You now say, my ancestors, in my spirit, I'm feeling like I should use description to write this essay or to discuss this essay that I want to talk about. No. Why, or sorry, where do you use description? Description does not just appear as a complete essay on its own. You can't just write description and it will stand alone as a complete essay or as a complete paragraph. It's inside other types of writing that you use it. For instance, you want to write a personal letter to your friend, then you want to describe something that happened to you. It is inside that letter that you will describe, not like there is something called description, then description is a letter you want to write. It's inside you like when I'm actually writing something else, but when I got to a point of that writing, I noticed that this thing that I just mentioned, oh, I'm interested, I want to talk more about it, I want to describe it to my audience so they will understand this particular thing I'm talking about currently inside this letter. You can also use it inside stories and narratives. You can use it inside stories and narrative. You know, when you are telling somebody a story and then you get to a point that excites you a lot, that point of your excitement, you may decide to, I think there is a word you normally use. Is it sugarcoat? Am I correct? You say you sugarcoat something or so. Is that correct? Is that how you say it? Yes, let me hear from you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When somebody is trying to sugarcoat something, the person is describing. So if you are very good in description, you find people always intrigued by your writing. They'll say, wow. So the picture is already created in their mind, even though that thing is not physically with them. So you can use it in report when you are traveling and then you go to Olumo Rock in Abeokuta, or you want to talk about it, or Aso Rock in Abuja here, you want to talk about it, you use description. When you want to write essays, biographies, description. If you have written, if you've read all these storybooks written by all these like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, or some other very, very professional writers, you find out that you are living in the book. I think like anytime you are reading the book, the scenes are being created in your head. You are feeling as if you are actually there when those things are happening. Like as you are reading it now, the thing is happening again. The images, you are creating the scenes in picture. Why? They use enough description to pass their message. Okay, for instance now, if I was actually writing a story about an accident that occurred, maybe I was a witness yesterday to the accident. If I say, or maybe as I approached the accident scene, I saw a badly damaged red car. Once you start seeing color, shape, sizes in a piece of writing, my dear, know that that piece of writing or that particular aspect is a description. Please put that in mind, because this is, of all the things we are talking about under description, the most important thing is for you to be able to identify when a paragraph was developed using description or not, because that is what they will test you on. They will give you a paragraph, even in TMA, watch out. The questions will come out. your GST102 TMA over the years is just a load of graphs asking you to identify the type of this thing that was used there. So if you see a description, so you have to register those things in mind: shapes, color, measurement, size, places, position. Once you start seeing those things mentioned in a piece of writing, they're actually talking about description. So let me give you an example of an accident that actually occurred yesterday, and I probably witnessed or nearly witnessed the accident. So as I approached the accident scene, I saw a badly damaged red car lying beside the road. So its windscreen, if you know what windscreen means, that is the front glass at the front of the car, that big one. So its windscreen was shattered. In fact, one of its front tires had come off, and pieces of broken glasses were scattered everywhere. If you did not see that accident live, physically, with this description, something is already being created in your mind that, I can relate. That must be a fatal one. You understand? That's what we're trying to say. So what are the things we can describe? What are the things we can describe? In case you want to write now and you feel like, Sam taught us about description and I want to practice it. I want to describe. I want to write this my essay, this my paragraph. I want to use description. What are the things you can describe in a piece of writing when you are writing? You can describe people. For instance, if you say Miss Grace Anazo is tall, she's dark in complexion, maybe she's in her early 20s, she has a round face, she has maybe a tiny shoulder and a very sonorous voice. What have you just done? You have described Grace, our class captain. So that you can describe people. You can describe places. For instance, if I should talk about the village of Omoyasuno, for instance, I may say Omoyasuno's village is surrounded by green hills and farmland, for instance, and a narrow, untarred road that runs through its center or the center of the hills. So without you going there, you already know what is happening, which means when you are going to Omoyasuno's road, you will see hills on the left, hills on the right, then in between two of them, you see road, which is a dirty road. Now, that person, I don't know if it's intentional or the person don't even know that his mic is on, but let's do the justice. Let me mute everybody. When you have something serious to say, you unmute yourself. So, that is places. You can also describe objects. It's not only people and places that you can describe. You can describe objects. And how do you describe objects? If you say the phone is rectangular, slim and black, with a large glass screen covering most of its front, if you don't know what I'm actually saying, your mind will go to an Android phone, because it's Android phones that have that kind of shape, not button phones. So you can describe you can describe animals. If you have maybe a German Shepherd at home, that is a dog, you can just say maybe the dog has thick brown fur, short legs, and a long tail. You are describing an animal. You can describe scenes, like the scenes that you witnessed. Oh, smoke filled the market as traders ran in different directions. Firefighters struggling to control the flames while people were shouting, "Help me, oh, help me, oh, help me, oh." You are describing a scene. That is it. You can even describe a condition. When you enter a room, or maybe probably you enter a class, or you visit your study center and you enter an office, and the office seems to be hot. A lot of people were there, like the place is crowded, and even the room was poorly ventilated on its own. You can give description of a condition that you met in the place. So those are the situations where you find yourself using description. Like I've said, what are the things you find yourself that you see that helps you to identify description in a piece of writing? Who is this Peter of a thing? You know that your place is bad and you left your mic on. That's bad. Now, what are the words you can use in describing? Let me give you tips now. Words you can use in describing. We have words like beside, all those adjectives. Beside, behind, opposite, above, below, to the right, to the left, in the center, beneath, beyond, south, east, west. When you start using all those kind of words, those are examples of, those are the words you find that shows description. You guys can check the chat box. I will drop just some few words there. There are more, can come up with more yourself, but those are the few I have here. So let's just assume that as we are holding this class now, this place is a classroom. You cannot say Sam's table is in front of the classroom. The whiteboard is behind Sam's table. When we have two windows located on the left side and the entrance is on the right. With that description, you just describe a position or the positioning of items or things in the classroom. You can also describe measurement. Now, all those words I've sent earlier, they are used in describing position, place, or direction. You use them to show position, place, or direction when you are describing an essay, describing an event or anything in a piece of writing. Those words like west, north, alongside, beyond, beneath, above, between, in the right, to the left, to the center, and also all those ones, they are used for talking about direction. For instance, like we've mentioned the issue of this place being a classroom and my table being opposite or behind the black, the whiteboard rather. Now, another thing you can describe is measurement according to the material. Let me take you back so that you know where I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things you can describe here: place, position, direction. Number 2, measurement. Under measurement, you have weight, size, volume, and distance. Now, what are we trying to say here? Instead of you to just say the building is big, you can say the building is a 3-story structure measuring about 30 meters in length. Once you say that, you've described the building, not just saying the building is big. The building is big is very ambiguous. But when you tell me the exact, if you say the building is big, there will be many big buildings there. You see, this is very important when you're asking for direction. You will know the importance of description when you're asking somebody for direction. Somebody that is very poor in describing things, the person will send you to your village trying to describe Abuja to you, because the person doesn't know how to describe. So the description, you will say, then you go like this. So you now turn, you now see 2 corners. Just go to the 1 corner, then you corner again, then you corner. Once somebody is telling you that, the person will just confuse your enemy. So you may not know the importance of description yet until you need to ask somebody for direction. That is when you know what we mean by description. Now, when we're talking about measurement, you can measure using the following words. Now, under measurement, that is when you start saying the size of something, the height of something, the distance, the length, the volume, and so on and so forth. So, if you are describing measurement is not like saying the man is heavy. Instead of saying the man is heavy, you can just say the man weighs approximately maybe 90 kilograms or so. So when you start saying grams, meters, centimeters, all those things, they show description. So I think we've talked enough. Let me not talk more on the others like shapes. Shapes, those ones are very popular. You have round, rectangle, triangle, oval, straight, curve. All those are under shape. And when you talk about pattern, maybe something may be dotted, it may be checked. When it's checked, checks. It may be stripped, it may be dotted, and so that when we talk about, what patterns mean. If you buy all this Ankara a lot, you know what to make by pattern. All those designs they put on them, their patterns. So for color, we don't need to start telling ourselves color. You know what color means: deep blue, red, orange, brown, and also so on and so forth. Now, they also say you can describe materials. You can describe materials and substance. That is the last one. What we are trying to say here is you can describe wood. You can say something is wooden, something is metallic, something is plastic, Something is glass, cotton, leather, or it can be steel or concrete. So you can describe materials. For instance, if you say a wooden table, you already inform me that the table in the hotel is not iron, is not metal. Sorry, it's not metallic. It is what? A wooden table beside the glass window. If you also say glass window, you already inform me that the type of window they use there is made of glasses, or glass rather. It's made of glass. So now let us read the example. We have an example here that we need to read and to better understand. So since we are on Zoom, I will unmute one person to read it to us. This is an advantage of Zoom. You can talk back. So which of my class captain is here? I've not seen Grace. I've not seen Dora. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Even Omoyasu. Okay, Omoyasuno is here. Omoyasuno, unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself and
Yes, sir.
okay, please read. Just read it to us. Don't worry. I will take the explanation.
Okay. Example 2, development of a paragraph by description. Of the more than 20 pieces of small whales or 300-pound playboy is identified by its gunmetal height, his 8 to 12 feet length, and his laughing face. The porpoise has no teeth at birth. They begin to appear from 44 to 50 in each jaw. A few weeks later, though it suckles for about a year and a half, it begins to mount small squid at 4 months, with breath through a single nostril, a crescent-shaped blow hole in his head that closes upon contact with water. This is also the source of his voice, and he can vibrate it like a human's beat. His eyes, set just back from the mouth, are like a human being capable of wrangling. He hears through a portion inner ear and periodic bone, and has the keenest auditory sense of any animal. His brain weighs about 3.7 pounds, which in cell count per cubic centimeter is the same as man's. Some marine biologists believe that porpoise may have a higher potential IQ than man, but have never had to develop it because they are so perfectly adapted to their environment.
Thank you. Thank you. From what you are reading now, you will find out that, in fact, the thing is a boring reading, but it's actually creating a picture. If you put your mind, if you don't know anything about purpose before, you know that the purpose now, their lifestyle, you are imagining things as you are reading, you are trying to get a picture of what that thing is. Now, I think they gave us some glossary here. What is a playboy? Well, boys may not know what a playboy means, but I know that every girl here, sorry, let me use the word girl. I don't want to use woman. Every girl here knows what a playboy is, because they always shout that guys are playboys. So, me, I don't trust. I don't believe in that. Love. A playboy is a wealthy young man who lives mainly for pleasure. But in this our case, it refers to a purpose. So for metal, that is a metal which is mixed of copper, tin, lead, and zinc. That is the animal's hide is compared to a gun metal. Now, what is a porpoise? A large sea animal that swims about in groups. Munch. Munch means to eat with a strong movement of the jaw, making a noise. That is why when you eat things that will make your mouth, that will engage your mouth and make sound, make your mouth to make sound, like that is why you see it on the label of those kind of chips or whatever, they'll put crunchy munchy. What you are trying to say is, like, I think that is this one that, okay, let me not promote any product here. But you people know what I'm saying. Now, once you are eating, you are munching it. Now, squid, a small sea creature, crescent shaped. When something is crescent shaped, now you see that this example they gave us captured everything they said earlier under the things you can find in descriptive essays, like position, place, direction, measurement like weight, size, volume, distance, shapes and patterns, colors and textures, materials and substances. They used all of them. They exhausted all of them in this example. So this example was intentionally chosen for you guys. Now, what of a blowhole? A blowhole is a breathing hole at the top of the head of a whale, which controls or regulates the flow of air in and out. When we talk about vibrate, we're talking about cause to shake continuously and rapidly with slight movement that may often be felt or heard rather than seen. Now, ranging means stretching or reaching from one limit to another, while cushioned means provided with soft inner lining. Now, periodic, surrounding the ear. Periodic means something surrounding the ear. Auditory, of course, hearing. Biologist, a scientist who studies living things. Potential is capable of developing, while intelligent quotient, which is IQ, stands for intelligence quotient. It is a measure of a person's intelligence. 100 represents the average. Adapted means suited. Environment means surroundings. Now, this description of the purpose is a good example of the type of writing that seeks to create a clear and accurate word picture of a subject without specifically mentioning the author's feeling about it. Notice the way in which the writer has built up a picture of the purpose. Now, the first sentence gives the general characteristics of the purpose. The rest of the sentences add details to develop the subject. What they're trying to tell you is that the first statement in that paragraph was a topic sentence. These details are concerned with the physical appearance of the subject, such as its teeth, nose, eyes, ears, and brain. Most good descriptions follow this progression from the general to the more specific. So that's the idea of description. That is the idea of description. I think I've talked a lot on this description. I don't think I need to start another explanation. Is you know what we're talking about now when we say description. Now, when they talk about it moves from the general to the specific, the method of describing an idea, a concept, moves from general to the specific. Like in the case of this purpose, for example, you see, when we want to bring out words that talks about generality there, the ones that moves from general to, let me go back there so we see, that moves from general to specific. The ones that represent general there are things that talks about maybe it weighs about 300 pounds, is about 8 to 12 feet long, has a gunmetal colored body, it appears to have a laughing face. Those ones are general description of the purpose. You will now find out that after giving those general descriptions, then the author started talking about the teeth, how it feed, the blowhole, the eyes, the ears, the hearing ability, then the brain, the IQ. So that is what we mean by from general to specific. Let me give you a very clear example. If you are talking in general, you can say the car is a small black 4-door Toyota sedan, for example. If I say the car or the vehicle is a small black 4-door Toyota sedan, that is a general description. But if you say that to me, I may want to know more about that car. So you will now say its front is fitted with 2 narrow headlights and a silver grille. Maybe the windows are heavily tinted. What else can you say to make it specific? Okay, why the interior curtain or the interior contains 5 black leather seats. You've talked more now. You are now specific. Generally, every Toyota sedan may have 4 cars. Yes, their color may vary, but most of them 4 cars. 4 doors. 4 doors, and probably small doors. But if you are trying to move from general to specific, what you are just trying to say there is that the kind of information you can provide under description may be just a general description or a more specific description. So let's take this place that says, when you write a description, this is where we end the class tonight. People have tried. When you write a description, keep in mind that you must do the following. When you write a description, keep in mind that you must do the following. 1, begin with the general appearance of that thing. Please, this is how you learn to write a description. I'm going to give you an assignment tonight. This one is not on assignment portal. Everybody must submit. And this one, I will mark it. I will go through all your essays and criticize you. So you must pick a very good topic. First of all, identify your topic sentence in the paragraph. Then use description to develop it. You pick a scene. It doesn't have to be a scene. You know how many things you can describe now. You can pick a person. You can even decide to describe yourself, your place, your village, your anything. So you choose an idea, then you describe it using all that you have learned in tonight's class. You describe it using all that you have learned in tonight's class. The whole paragraph should not be more than 15 lines or so. 15 lines is even too much. What do you want to describe that is up to that? It may even be just 3 or 4 lines, but make sure you submit it. And this time around, you probably don't need to submit to, you can just drop a message in my DM. And just target GST102 assignment. You don't submit files. I don't want files. Just type it. Description doesn't take long. You can describe something in just 5-10 lines, and that is enough, just like a text message. So everybody online, please tell those that are not here, you have to join, and you have to submit the assignment. Now begin with the general appearance. You are not learning how to do your assignment now. You begin with the general appearance of that thing. Don't talk about details yet. Begin with general appearance. For instance, if you are talking about general appearance, let me say that I probably want to talk about a classroom. Let me use classroom since we're actually in class. If I say that my classroom is a large rectangular room capable of accommodating about 60 students. Yes, I have described my classroom, but that seems to be a generic description. It's just a general description of the classroom. There are things in that classroom that I have not mentioned. How many chairs are there currently? Are there things on the wall? How many windows does it have? Where is the door located? How many whiteboards are there? When you start talking more about the details of that thing, I'm going to specific. But general is just, how does it look like? Appearance. When you're talking of general, it's just the appearance alone that you start with. And that is the best way to always start discussion. You talk about the general appearance of that thing. Then select such physical details as will support the description of the general appearance you have given in your first sentence. Now, once you come up with a general appearance, you need to now select more details from the things you mentioned in the general appearance. For instance, I said that my classroom is a large rectangular room capable of accommodating about 60 students, like I mentioned earlier. Now, if I want to talk about more specific details on that general description, I may talk about something like the classroom contains 6 rows of wooden desks. 2 large windows are located on either side of the room, while a whiteboard occupies the front wall. What have I just mentioned? I have just described inner content of the classroom. So I've given you specific characters. Now, when you are talking about the specific aspect, you have to describe the object by stating the following: the size, the color, the design, the weight, and materials. So when you see this, or when you use this in your piece of writing, you find yourself describing that thing very well. You are describing that thing very well. So right now, even as you are seated in your room, start describing your parlor. Describe your room. Describe your kitchen. You can use that to start learning about description. So you learn vocabulary. By the time you want to describe your kitchen now, and you want to talk about your cabinet, and you are not struggling with the correct word that you want to use. Which word can I use? Oh, like the way this thing is like this. You find yourself doing more research. Maybe go to ask your AI, okay, if something is like this, like what is the correct word? What is the correct English I can use for it? Before you know, you are building your vocabulary. So it's something. See, the things you are learning in this GST102, you know, I keep saying it. Please practice them. It's not because of this level you are alone. GST101 and 102 is a course that will help you all through. Sorry, they are. Oh well, it's just one GST anyway, just a division into two. So if I say it's a course, I'm still correct. That will help you all through your study years. Every other thing you are doing in now, if you properly go through just 101 and 102, my guys, you just see yourself getting A1, 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 A1. It's very simple. The issue is that we just want to read and pass the exam. That's the issue I have. That's why I've changed approach this semester. We have to explain. We no longer just project the material, read to, and then I hope you learned something today. Well, bye-bye. No, I want to be explaining, like, let's go deeper into explanation so that it doesn't just be like, I want to pass the exam. You're also passing through the material as much as the material is passing through you. So when you pick, that person should be careful. Who is that? Please mute yourself and stop disturbing us. I'm actually okay. Sorry. So I'm about to round up. Don't worry. So when you pick the aspect you want to talk about, like the window, the whatever, the door, you talk about their sizes, their colors, their designs, their weights, the materials they are made up of. So when you are describing your kitchen cabinet, for instance, this assignment I give you now, if you decide to describe your kitchen cabinet, you may want to interest me with the type of material it was made of. Maybe a wooden cabinet or a metallic cabinet, if there is anything like that. You understand? And even the wood, you may describe the kind of wood it is. Maybe which I think that is mostly they use board now, maybe MDF or HDF board. So you may even need to talk more about the type of material used. Then the next thing is, in some descriptions, especially of scenes, when you are trying to describe an accident scene, a wedding scene, or anything, and landscapes, arrange your details in a definite order, such as near to far, high to low, left to right, etc. Some of the words used to indicate position are, I have just mentioned them before. If we remember, I've mentioned them to the right, above, below. Those are adjectives that describe some noun. So, in a form of summary to the class, what we are trying to say is that when you are describing accidents, or sorry, no, a scene doesn't really have to be accident. But when you are describing a scene, you have to arrange it logically. Coherence must be very, very important there. And you have to practice coherence. Like, you have to arrange it. Okay, as I was approaching the accident scene, it's not just that you talk about this from the middle, then you jump to the beginning and come to, no, those kind of description, you have to arrange them logically. Like if you say, you have to describe the movement of things from left to right, the one that is closest to you, from far to near, or sorry, from near to far, and so on and so forth. Now, as a form of summary tonight, I would say, assuming you enter a room and the room has a television, a bed, and maybe a window, or even a wardrobe. Now, and then there is a chair in that room, and the ceiling is probably white. Maybe the wardrobe is brown in color. The MDF is brown in color. Maybe we have a window in the room, the bed, the television. If you want to describe it in a proper way, you've seen many things now. You've seen television, you see bed. How will you arrange it when you want to describe it? Which one will you describe first? You may say, my room is a modest, maybe rectangular or oval or circular room, painted with light blue or light cream. Immediately to the right of the entrance stands a tall brown wooden wardrobe. Beside it, I have a small reading table with a plastic chair. Then a large window occupies the opposite wall, allowing plenty of sunlight into the room. So my bed is positioned along the left wall, while a television hangs above a small cabinet directly opposite my bed. So the white ceiling and tiled floor make the room appear bright and neat. What have you just done? Yes, when you enter, this thing you want to describe, you have a lot of items there, but you have to properly arrange them so that whoever is reading it will make sense out of your description. I hope you guys had a nice time tonight. This brings us to the end of the class, and I will drop the assignment in the group. Every one of you should try to attempt it. Please submit to my DM. Don't submit files. I repeat, you just send it as text. So we have done justice to this part tonight. In our next class, we'll move to reading, no, not reading comprehension. Those are just more examples you can under description. We are done with description basically, and we have concluded tonight. So the next type of reading, also a paragraph development method we are going into in our next class is development of paragraph using cause and effect and definitions. I love this part of this style rather. I love this method. So we're going to talk a lot in that next class, and you enjoy it. So put it in mind, guys. You may read ahead so that you understand what we do in that class, developing your paragraphs using cause and effect and definitions. Thank you all for attending the class tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. I think we've come to the end of the class now.